Hello friends, welcome to the one more episode of the Ecosailor. Today we are in a beautiful office of Swan Defence and Heavy Industries where our esteemed guest is Mr. Rajeev Nayyer. Mr. Rajeev Nayyer is an industry veteran with 4 decades of experience. He is a DMT alumni of a 1983-87 batch. He began his sea career with the company GESCO uh, and rose through the ranks as a chief engineer. In 1995, he transitioned from the sea to shore career with the same company GESCO, where he continued working in a different role up to year 2000. In year 2000, Mr. Nayyer joined Essar Group, where he played crucial roles in LNG business, LPG business, went on to head the diverse departments, diverse verticals, including technical operation, new buildings, quality and safety, and ultimately the oil field business as well as a CEO of that section. He currently serves as an advisor to Swan Defence and Heavy Industries Limited, to their shipbuilding vertical, uh, developing a Swan shipyard, erstwhile called a Pipavav shipyard, and it's India's largest shipyard. Mr. Nayyer also serves as a president of IMEI, which is Institute of Marine Engineers, where the institute is about the knowledge sharing, skill development, and advancement of a new generation marine engineers. Hello, sir. Welcome you on the Ecosailor. This is the show about marine professionals, marine veterans, and you are one of them. So we are honored to interview, sir. Okay. We would like to start with your career, the beginning of a career. So everybody who are the newcomers, new generation, they will be looking up to you guys, you're like a veterans, how you graduated through the process. So can you begin with your what moved you to come into this maritime field?
Okay, first of all, thanks for having me here and being able to talk to you, share my ideas. And first of all, yes, it's been nearly 4 decades in the industry and really enjoying every part of it. How did I come into maritime? I started in DMT in '83. I was actually doing physics honors at St. Stephen's College in Delhi.
Oh, really?
And I started doing that when I got my call from here. At that time, it was through the joint entrance examination of IIT.
JEE.
We had an extended merit list. So I came in that. And so, being a Delhiite, first of all, it was a challenge to find somebody who knew about merchant navy. Fortunately, one of my uncles knew somebody who was a master mariner.
Okay.
So I did go and then have a discussion with him. And to be very honest, their advice was go into the deck side. But I was a bit more studious in nature. I'd heard about eyesight and all. So I chose the safer path. I said, let me go for engineering.
Marine.
So I joined DMT. So that's how the journey started in 1983.
Good. And how was the journey during the studying? Like DMT is the one of the, I guess that time it was the only college, I
That's
guess.
right.
And still it is the elitist college, or number one college in the marine industry, right? Marine profession, of course, for the marine engineers. And how was your experience through that DMT periods?
Well, first of all, it was a change, a hostel life compared to a home life, and that to a hostel life in a sort of a very regimented. So the first thing was getting a haircut. So I think none of us can forget that particular moment, getting into a uniform. But I think it was about adapting to that, and we, like as a group, we adapted quite fast. It was a big change. Possibly at that age, you are also very open to adapting at a faster pace. It was initially tough and suddenly, but then it was different. But then there was so much of batchmates around who are facing the same life as you. first time you're in hostel, having hostel food, it was different, but we adapted to it.
Some fear of ragging and
we don't use those words nowadays, yes, but that time, starting with morning PT and your compulsory rounds of the field, and then the one who sent you on roads forgot to even stop you, so you kept running. So those were parts and parcel of life. We had our tough times, and then we had good times. So I think overall the good times started overshadowing, and you started enjoying, and you built into that life, and that has paid off possibly in the later part of the life.
That groom us, like that period bonding is the foundation.
Absolutely, that bonding, it sort of toughened you up for the sort of challenges which came about.
True. And as we understand, DMET has given so many industry veterans. Like that name itself is like that's an accolade on your shoulder. Like I am a DMET.
Yes, right? we still are very proud of it. As a batch, we are in touch. I'm sure now many other institutes have come up after it opened up to private institutions. Of course, IMEO has come up as a university, and I'm sure they are also. But if you go deep down into it, they are carrying a lot of traditions of what was in DMT also.
Correct.
So you still see those uniforms, you still see those march past, you still see that discipline, and you still see those haircuts.
Right. When we see those cadets, still it becomes a nostalgic feeling. Oh, I was there. Sure. But those days, even I remember, like I was not in a DMT, I was in Mary, Mumbai. But similar setup and all, you understand that. So after DMT, you started with GESCO, I remember, right?
That's right.
Great Eastern Shipping Company. One of the oldest company, I would say, in the Indian this thing. How was your experience, and like how was your first experience when you climbed up the ship? Okay, 4 years in the college, everything you study marine engineering, but the moment you climb up the ship, the whole world is something shifting. Like
yes,
how?
It changes.
It changes.
It changes. There is an excitement. It's a job compared to your student. Right. Yes, we had some ship visits being in Calcutta. If a ship came to, so you knew what a ship looked like to some extent, but this was different.
Yeah.
So when you had never felt the ship moving. The rolling pitching at some stage
you have to experience. That. You cannot study them.
I think the biggest change which happened was when you really got into it was the noise level of the engine room. That is something which I recollect is
correct.
It's nearly 4 decades back, but yes, I think heat not that much, but noise was the first, especially when the previous ship visits and all would be in port, and also you had limited machinery running.
Correct.
When you really had every machine running and all, then you realize, and those times we did not have things like earmuffs and all.
Really?
Those were concepts which are not there at that time.
Okay.
Rather, we now when I see, even with earmuffs you can hear abnormal sounds, but you were taught one thing, that all your senses have to be used for a good watchkeeping, and which included listening. So first thing was, when all that noise hits you, you wonder how you will ever be able to listen. Right. So it was a thing, and of course being employed is another feeling altogether, because I think that was one of the key things, when you knew that there would now be a salary to what you are doing. So it was an achievement, starting a profession. And then obviously you wanted to learn, and I think all of us, the vision was one day we'll become like this senior engineer who seems to know so much, and we are
so
learning
everything. Like correct. There are so many experiences coming, adventurous experiences, professional experiences, all through your career. Do you remember any one something during the cadetship, like? Because I guess cadetship, you have so much like curious minds. Later on, you become analytical. Chief engineer is totally mechanical. But cadetship is a period, or like fourth engineer is a period where we are always curious of learning this thing, that thing. So many things happen. Do you remember any such incident, early phase of your career?
There are quite a few actually which left a lot of impression
Impact,
on one's mind as to how to solve really when an issue comes up. I remember one key one where I felt I had really understood something was we were overhauling these cylinder heads on the generators, and they had these wall guides, and when you had to push, they were shrink fit. So how you put them in the fish room or meat room, bring them in, and now those wall guides I still remember they had two, it had a ridge, one for the sitting of the spring, and one was another one. If you used a bigger size pipe to push it in, the whole casting would break.
Okay.
You had to use it on the inner dia of that size because that was strengthened to take that hammering in.
Correct.
So then you realize, yes, this is what is strength of materials. There's so many such incidents, and if I look at it today, there are so many things we learned in that.
Yeah.
And then at times you realize, yes, if I relate it back, this is what I did study, and this is why this is important.
Right. There are so many things we learn in our early college rules. One experience testing of your fuel valve. Okay. Testing of a fuel valve, our professor is like, did you feel the injection? Did you feel it? No, sir. Don't never feel it.
Never feel it.
Never
feel it.
So yeah. So those experiences, like when you go on board, there are so many things you are learning. But even those, my days were really learning phase and curious this thing. Sir, you have been working on a ship for almost how many? 1 decade or so, more than
about 8 years.
8 years on the ship. So you have worked all through with the Great Eastern.
Great Eastern, that's right.
And then you have migrated into the Great Eastern office.
Right.
So how was your experience? Like when you are on the ship, you're totally within your shell. The whole world is the ship. When you migrate to the office, it's a kind of a different feeling. How you managed that? Like, how was your experience? How?
It was a transition. Actually, it was. If you ask me honestly, I was a chief engineer at that time when I got a call from office to ask if I was interested. We just come back from a dry dock, and my wife was sailing with me, and I couldn't I really felt have they made some I'm a newly not much of an experienced chief engineer. Why are they calling me to office? That's supposed to be for sort of senior people, a bit of white hair and all. But they had their reasons because they had at that time got a ship which was with advanced automation and all. So the original idea was that I learn a bit of office, then go and sail on that ship and be sort of a person who is with advanced knowledge of that ship in shore. Of course, that never happened in reality. Got involved in so many other works.
Okay.
That didn't happen. So it was a change. And when I told her that this is, they want me to, they'll have an interview, of course, and all. May have to go to Bombay. And that itself was a change. Being from Delhi, like Bombay had a different impression in me and my wife's this thing, but we said we'll give it a try. Definitely see, because it's as a matter of fact, I felt it was an honor to be asked to come to office at that time, and we'll give it a shot and see how it works. So that's how it started, and the interviews went well. I got selected, and I was asked to join office in Bombay.
How was the experience as a superintendent? You must have started as a superintendent.
Oh, it started with being asked to jump into the fire straight away. I remember I came and stayed in Grand Hotel out here at VT for the first few days till accommodation and all was done. And we had a ship at anchorage, which the starting air bottle was not filling up because the compressors were not starting. They were not pumping air. So my wife was in the hotel thinking that we'll be starting looking for a house. Instead, I was all the time at the inner anchorage trying to sort that problem. And that ship had been sold, it was to be handed over, so there were deadlines. So it started off like that, and we solved the problem. And then life slowly moved into a sort of a regular thing. I do remember when we came by flight and we were passing Haji Ali to come to the hotel. It was quite late in the night and people were so much around, and that was the first impression my wife had of Bombay. What are so many people doing around at this time of the night? So it was change of profile for me, a change of lifestyle for the family, my wife basically. Good fun. Slowly we adjusted to it, and I think today if you ask me, besides Bombay, I don't see where we would enjoy whether working life or retired life.
So next interview, I should interview your wife because she said it was a fun. My wife doesn't say that.
Today, if you ask her, she would not like to go back to Delhi.
Okay. So Bombay is good because, yeah, in our career, I would say our family a little bit suffer. I would say they compromise a lot, but good. So you have been working with GESCO for quite some time. I think 10, 12 years. 10 years.
GESCO
From
was
2000 to
12 years with
12
GESCO,
years with GESCO.
and 20 years with Essar.
Oh, 20 years.
So 2 companies I did.
Yes. That's great. And Essar, I understand you have worked with mainly LNG products. How was your experience with the Essar?
So what happened was that at that time we were importing gas from Middle East. So in Great Eastern, I got an opportunity to inspect gas carriers for buying as a technical person. So that's how I started my exposure to gas. In that, we finalized one ship, and I went to take over that ship for Great Eastern. And to be able to manage it, I sailed with the Norwegians for 3 months to learn the gas trade. And then I sailed myself as chief engineer on that vessel for 3 months before I came to office and set it up. So that's how I became a sort of a person who was into gas trade, LPG at that time.
LPG.
And in 2000, we had the Petronet tender coming out for LNG for India. And Essar was one of the bidders. Great Eastern was also one of the bidders. Great Eastern, I was purely technical. Essar told me that we'll make you techno-commercial. So I sort of had a liking, if you want to call it, or a desire to be involved in commercial as well. So I felt that would be a growth opportunity for me. So that's how I shifted for the LNG business of Essar to Essar in 2000.
Okay, great. So LNG, LPG, LNG, but your career or sailing days, you were never on the gas carrier.
I have sailed on tankers, product tankers, and even some bulk carriers. Because in that time, when you wanted to carry your family, you would normally choose a bulk carrier. But then, when family was not there, you would. So at that time, we had
carriers.
Because
I understand that. Even
we will not talk about shore leave today. That's a very
sad part.
That's a sad part. But that time you could really enjoy a bit of family, and which was better on bulk carriers than on tankers.
So you went on from the bulk carrier tankers, and you went on to become a master of LNG and LPG side as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, we did not win the tender in Essar. So then the progression moved to Essar. At that time had 6 crude oil tankers, which were trading in Europe, US, etc. So then they asked me to start looking after that.
Okay. So LNG, crude oil tankers, mainly Essar. And I understand. I was just going through your profile, like you headed your technical operations, and ultimately I see you were CEO of oil fields, and so I was wondering what all things marine engineer can do. They
Yes,
should look at you. Keep learning.
frankly, you can do anything. As far as
How do you manage? How did you manage that? Like moving from
okay,
normal conventional shipping, going to oil fields. This is
it's how projects happen. You see, one of the things working with a group like SR, there's so many other business related, and that's one thing I really enjoyed in SR. It was not compartmentalized. So you were involved in all sorts of projects. Like I said, like they asked me to start looking after these crude oil tankers. That was one of the biggest challenges at that time because oil major inspections were a key at that time for good. Markets were down. To get a decent charter hire, you required all oil major approvals, which these vessels unfortunately at that time did not have. They were originally being handled out of US. So my first task was to take charge of these 6 vessels and get oil major approvals.
okay.
So I heavily got involved with oil majors at that time, and I think nearly 2-3 years frequent visits to including Leatherhead, ExxonMobil office, explaining to them what we are doing at SR to make sure the ships are comfortable. We had Sun Oil in Philadelphia, in US.
Because I see your biodata, like you were heading the QHSE department. So this must be the part of it, right?
How it started. I started heavily getting into all systems in place on these vessels,
Right.
and I myself did accident investigation course at that time, which was one of the new requirements came at that time for root cause analysis and all. So it sort of led one thing to another, and at that time we had a senior person who was handling the asset management of the vessels, means in terms of ownership, sale and purchase. He was retiring, so they wanted me to take over that role. So I had to let go a bit of the load of technical and take over. So quality and safety along with that role started. So that migrated. Once I got into that business, it was assets not only for shipping per se, it was in the groups, whether it was building the SBM for the Vadinar refinery, or it was converting a OSV into a DSV. So those sort of projects of the group started landing up. So I got involved in new buildings. At that time, SR wanted to explore offshore drilling. So as a marine expert, I went to look at an asset which was semi-submersible, and those inspections led me to getting involved with the drilling side of it. So when subsequently we bought that asset, started operating it, and I was technically involved with that. So some drilling aspects started coming in, and then we gave an order for some jackup rigs. So new building, since I was involved in other new building activities of ships and all, I got involved in that. So that's how I moved into the oil field business, which then included not only offshore drilling but onshore drilling.
Okay.
So we had 11 land rigs.
Oh, great! So you were involved there as
there also, and so that's how it's. Believe me, if the projects, some of them worked out, some of them did not work out, but the amount of projects you get involved in a group, and possibly we see some similar synergies out here at Swan, because when you're in different verticals, there's so much of marine, one doesn't realize it's not just shipping, it's a lot of other activities. So it just opens up when you get involved in how to move ahead.
Correct. So as you said about the Swan, can you explain us like little bit of a Swan, and how you get, what all projects are involved presently? So can you give a brief idea about?
Okay, sort of end 2020, I decided that I want,
Yeah.
like, I am not really contributing what I can to the industry in a way.
You will be never
because
satisfied. What I understand from your profile, you will be always.
So
Yeah.
end of 2020, and it took me nearly about 6 to 8 months to sort out a lot of things which I had not paid attention to because of the, I wouldn't call it a 9 to 5 job, but
Yeah.
the job which one goes through.
Yeah.
And then I started doing projects, advisory role, largely techno-commercial. And in that circumstance, I was actually asked by an entity from UK to give a report on the Swan had acquired the Pipavav shipyard, which is now called Swan Defence and Heavy Industries, Swan shipyard, and because they want to build ships out there. So that was how my visit started. And before that, of course, I had built ships in various places for Essar, including in India, and I had seen Indian shipyards. When I went to Swan shipyard, which is the erstwhile Pipavav shipyard, I found it very interesting. I found it really good, very thoughtfully planned out. The layout was really impressive. At that time, I went, I think, in March of 24. The physical position had come in January of 24. So the reactivation was just really starting. But the potential which I saw there is what I came and conveyed back, because the promoters wanted to hear what sort of feedback I have.
Right.
And somehow, possibly they felt that what I'm talking is something they feel they would like to pursue. So since then I've been advising them on how to bring the shipyard back into operations, and now we are ready to start really building. Dry docks are happening out there regularly. So much work has been done on all the equipments. Things are ready. So I believe it's really a fantastic facility which is out there, designed for shipbuilding.
Okay. Since you in the Swan shipyard Swan is involved with the shipbuilding, how do you see the Indian prospect in shipbuilding, new cargo shipbuilding? How is the India's future, and how Swan is going to play the role in it?
Okay. If you ask me, we had a very interesting time earlier when shipbuilding was planned. Unfortunately, the certain events caused a collapse at that time. But today, if you ask me, I think it's again a very right time to enter shipbuilding. The yards do not have the capacity. Primarily, shipbuilding is today China, Korea, and Japan, in that order, specifically. And there is a huge, deliveries are quite late. You don't get slots. So if you ask me, demand side, it is definitely there. We have had a bit of a lull in the past. The events of 2025 are visible. We know what happens. I think both from its cargo security point of view, it is essential to look at India for shipbuilding. The vision documents, whether it be 2047 or 2030 vision, all are talking of India becoming a maritime hub, a maritime power to be considered of importance. You can't do that without having shipbuilding. To me, shipbuilding is essential to that. And it's not that we have not built ships. We have been building ships. The defense sector, a lot of building has taken place. You look around the world, whether it is operators, whether it is designers, whether it is people at senior position in all companies which are involved with maritime, there are Indians all around. So we have the sort of the knowledge base there. We may be a bit behind in our technological advancement, keeping in pace in our R&D efforts, but those are some things which you have to catch up on. So shipbuilding, I think, is going to play an important role. And if I remember my figures correctly, last year Indian shipbuilding was some 1.1 some billion dollars, which is projected to grow to about 8 billion in 2033.
Oh, really? Okay.
Such an expansion cannot take place without the shipyards growing.
And you need to have infrastructure around the shipyards as well.
Absolutely.
To grow, because
shipbuilding clusters have to grow.
Yeah.
I think there have been studies done in Europe which show the importance of clusters. So with Swan coming up, it nearly doubles the capacity, I would say. And of course, defense is also, requirements are rising.
Yes.
So it is not that the defense shipyards can suddenly move into
Cargo.
Commercial. So it's important for private players like Swan to be now coming up and taking up the commercial shipbuilding, which will augment. And I think which is proceeding in the right directions in the corridors of the government. With all the policies being done, whether it is the shipbuilding assistance policy or it is the various financial instruments they're working on, the Maritime Development Fund they're working on, all these are aligned towards making India a shipbuilding hub as well. Only thing now, it's on the ground, and you very rightly said, it's not going to be alone the shipyard, it's going to be the clusters, because it should not be that we are assembling ships out here. We should be getting the equipments also manufactured here, the various components
should concentrate. They should have their hubs over here,
and we have to make it attractive for them to come and do it. And rest, I think, technically and professionally, we should be able to rise to the occasion and deliver the products, both quality wise and timely delivery wise.
Is there changes in the present government norms, like helping the shipbuilding also? Because India is having such a great potential, such a long coastline, whereby the maritime industry could have grown multifold in previous years, but we have not done it yet. Now we are talking of shipbuilding and this thing. The main reason probably were the rules and regulations or the laws of a country. So are there any changes which are helping in the shipbuilding industry?
Oh yes, I think if you look at what has been happening in the last, at least I have been involved now for more than a couple of years now. A lot of policy changes, a lot of focus, a lot of interaction between the government and industry also taking place. What are the pain points? How can they be solved? Where are the bottlenecks? How to remove them? So all that has led to some of these policies which are coming out, which are announced in the last budget also. And I think to me, it's a very positive way we are moving forward. And I think the result should be visible shortly. And if India has to grow to the levels, the vision which India has, I think this will be one of the key things, because not only is it making yourself reliant on somebody else for your transportation, including energy security, etc. It's a huge outflow of foreign exchange also for the country. So I think the direction is very right today, and we should start seeing some results of this. Even steps towards ports also, things like green tug transition policy, your shore power, and all. These should make a difference.
Even the ship repair yards also start coming up along with this, but that is another big industry as well. Right now vessels are going to China or that region for the ship repairs. India can be a good destination as well.
And it's not
Right.
only one industry which prospers with this. All
Yes.
the ancillary industries, so
Right,
much
right.
more. Then you have, let's say, a shipyard comes up. Not only you provide employment to the people out there, but you also start now having auxiliaries like your housing needs for these,
Yeah.
hotels for this. The city starts developing.
Right.
So instead of it being concentrated at 2, 3 mega cities, you suddenly have seeing
Multiple cities,
multiple
coastal cities
cities
will come
also
up.
coming
Yeah.
up, and
There are so
which is
many.
closer to the interiors. So upliftment of those people in those areas automatically starts.
Yes. Land infrastructure will improve, your road structure will improve because so much logistic business will
And frankly, the
increase.
sea is the route to take the congestion of the roads.
Right, right.
Y-
So we are doing defense shipbuilding, defense related, or
Not
even a
now.
cargo.
Not right now. We're looking at commercial shipbuilding
Commercial.
right now.
Okay.
Defense may be sometime further along the line, but not today.
Okay.
Today, the concentration is on
Towards
commercial
building commercial
shipbuilding.
vessels. Any particular kind of ship or?
You see, this shipyard has built in the past 8 Panamax ice class vessels for Golden Ocean Frederickson Company. And I recently met people who were operating those vessels, and they have a good report of that. They also built OSVs, 12 of them for ONGC, 7 of them were delivered. 5 were not delivered because the yard ran into, under the previous managements, into some issues, because of which it went into NCLT, which is where Swan bought it from. So the assets capability it has to build is the largest in India.
Oh, really? Okay.
The dry dock is 662 meters by 65 meters.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah.
So it is the largest dry dock in this region.
Yeah.
I think it would rank somewhere in the top few of the world itself.
Right.
In India, it is the largest shipbuilding facility. It can handle roughly 12,000 tons of steel fabrication per month. That's the sort of capability which is there. It is not only shipbuilding fabrication, it can do heavy fabrication, etc. So it's really a well thought out, well planned out building facility, and I think it will have a very important role to play in the future shipbuilding plans of India.
Right. Sir, recently I think you have represented India in MEPC. I want to divert the interview into the technical and the most talked thing right now in today's days is the MEPC83, I would say, and you have represented India in that meeting. How was your experience? I will go into technical later on.
You see, as far as IMO is concerned, yes, I was part of the delegation. We have been working in India. What we have is shadow committees. For every committee which is there in IMO, we have a shadow committee of professionals. The government officials, of course, are there who lead the delegation, and we give our professional input. So this is some work which we have been doing for now quite a few years, and reduction of greenhouse gases has been on the agenda for quite some time. Why MEPC 83 is important is because Annex 6 amendments were agreed upon at this session, and in mid-October we do have the extraordinary session where they will be adopted. They are up for adoption. Hopefully, this will define the path to net zero by 2050, which is the revised strategy of IMO for maritime. So it is one of the key movements. It's still a lot of work to be done. It is just policy which is now in place. What is the path, the details, the procedures, everything, a lot of work has to be done.
In a geopolitical front, like I understand before MEPC 83, there was quite a bit resistance from the I think countries, but ultimately during voting, I think it was fairly voted in favor of it, right? So how was the India's position in that, and I guess India was always this thing
India has been in favor
of it. So even India, I guess, is working towards that carbon neutrality quite a bit in the land this thing also. So how you see the Indian marine industry adapting all these aggressively, or what all measures you will be taking?
I would look at it as an opportunity today. Because yes, we have been so dependent on fossil fuels,
Right.
and yes, today very often asked question is which fuel, where is the fuel?
Yeah.
All those questions are there.
Correct.
Technology has reached a certain stage. That comfort level today
Yeah.
we do have, but there are certain other questions which remain unanswered. But then one has to look at possibly, and these are my personal views, because when you sit at it as a delegation, of course, it is the guidelines which come from the government. Those views are the ones. But personally, if you ask me, today you and I are paying a cost of pollution.
Right.
It is there, whether you call it because of you look at around you, the events which happen, climate, sudden climate changes, you're seeing it all across. These are, and they cost money. When you lose lives, when you lose property, everything costs money. So there's a price to be paid if you are not going to be negating the effects of the climate change which you are causing.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, when you move away from fossil fuel, there will be a cost. And actually, there's been a lot of studies. It's not that MEPC83 just went and said that, okay, net zero 2050, this is the way. There's been a lot of studies done behind it. India has been participating in those studies as well. And these are very in-depth studies using very sophisticated softwares, etc., to see what would be the impact on each and every country.
Yeah.
They've been done by bodies like UNCTAD and all. And those reports, if one goes through, if you look at India per se, I would say the impact will be there, definitely. But then, is that impact more severe than the impact we are facing because of climate change? Plus, if I look at it from India's point of view, we are dependent on fossil fuels.
Yeah.
And we don't have fossil fuels. We do have solar.
Yeah.
So, is it a good trade-off where you have a possibility today of increasing your self-reliance? So that would be, I think, a very key thing, which would play in. I'm sure in the ministries, not only shipping ministry but also environment, finance, everybody is deliberating on these topics. Okay. What would be the impacts? What would be impacts in a holistic way, not limited to just the impact on the cost of trade.
Okay. Yeah, basically, the GHG effect is challenging near the existence of a human being. That is what it is, 1.5 degrees centigrade.
And it's not only the oceans.
Yeah.
It's also going to impact your ice cover on the Himalayas. Right. So one can, like, as a marine engineer, I would say, okay, so sea level will rise, this thing, that thing, okay, we can, but then on the other end, it is not only that. Okay. And therefore, I always, at least personally, I feel that India is the one who should be sort of moving ahead on this. We have a huge coastline. We are seeing the impacts of pollution, and possibly one of the reasons why I say I will not like to go back to Delhi is when you see the kind of pollution which happens in winters.
Correct. Yeah. And India is, like, within our developing countries, I think India is progressing, leaving the example behind for other developing countries as well. Yes. The way we are investing in renewables and all those things. So definitely, with MEPC 83, Now we are talking about, firstly it was the CII, which is still there. It is still under development, and now we have a GFI. So GFI is mainly about the alternative fuels, right? So how do you think like marine industry can grapple within, like, EU MRV or EU ETS is already there. It's already there. But GFI from IMO, when it is coming, it is a global phenomenon. Now people have to really think, like small ship owners and all, they say our ship doesn't go to EU. But when it comes to GFI, it is to everybody. So how do you think?
Today it is for the larger ships, 5000 GT.
5,000, even
But it'll-
5,000 is even you
Yeah.
have a small ship owners also in that.
I agree. And the biggest question they'll ask is which fuel to go for.
Yes.
Is it ammonia? Is it methanol? Is it hydrogen? LNG? Synthetic LNG? So many things to come about. It's possibly, one has to understand is what the suppliers of these fuels are saying. If there is a market certainty for us, the product will be available.
Yeah.
There's not a problem in making the availability of the product, provided it requires an investment.
If there is a demand, supply will be generated.
It becomes a bankable investment if the your demand is there
in the market.
So that is what they're looking at, is if IMO is confirming this, we are sure that this demand is there. The investment becomes bankable and these products start flowing. Japan has a tug running on ammonia. I think it was launched in last year. They have that. Myself, along with one DG official, visited the Fortescue vessel, which was in River Thames when we were at MEPC. They had brought it there, which is with ammonia. And so we ourselves have got these hydrogen concepts in India, Cochin Shipyard.
Yeah.
So technically these are coming. Now, when will the fuels be available? The moment these sort of regulatory mechanisms
will be in place, it will be mandated.
The investment into making the fuels available will be there. I see now we have this firefighting courses for methanol going on.
Oh, yeah.
They have started. So people are also getting trained, because another question which comes up is, what about the manpower?
Manpower, it has to be trained accordingly.
So everything has to move, and that is what possibly we as professionals have to be aware of and try to be slightly ahead of the curve.
Correct.
Not be watching this happened and we are now lagging behind. We have to catch up. If we are ahead of the curve, I think it's an opportunity to be there.
Preparing manpower is one of the important preparation in the migration transition. Yes, definitely. For the existing ship owners or the existing ships to transit for the fuel, I see the main option right now is the biofuel or a bio blend, right? So the focus right now for every ship owner or a ship manager is to, like, how do I find the biofuel, this thing, which is like they don't have to do any modifications or any changes in their present this thing. How do you see that market right now in India? There is not much of a supply, or frankly, for the vessels coming to coastal or Indian coast. We don't have much of a supply, I guess, for the biofuel. But is India working towards that? Or?
I think again this will be something linked to market. Today, if there's an additional cost, obviously nobody will like to pay an additional cost. But tomorrow, if you are not able to meet your regulatory requirements and you require to use this to get yourself down the slope as far as your emissions are concerned, then it will start So that's why you require that
slowly.
regulatory.
Presently, it is not mandated. So yeah.
So it's again that sort of a scenario. But what I will share with you is that I think last week I was having a discussion with a design house. Today's engines are much more efficient. They have changed a lot compared to the days when we were sailing.
Yeah.
The sort of fuel consumption which today is there,
it's R&D engine.
it's you can see the difference.
Surely.
For the same sort of power output, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So when I was discussing, it was with respect to a larger size tanker vessel, and their design is based on a dual fuel. And even if the second fuel is not available, the vessel till 2045 still falls below the line of the GFI curve.
Is it?
So
dual fuel, you mean to say dual fuel has to be a compliant other fuel, which is...
Dual fuel has to be like, so even if you're going to burn fossil fuel, the efficiencies which have come into the system are making sure to a large extent that you still
fall.
And then you can use biofuels and all. I'm coming to the worst case scenario, your alternate fuel is not available.
Okay. Yeah. So then you can burn fossil fuel and you can still trade.
Not be. You may not be earning because of being a dual fuel, but you will not be paying penalties.
In that.
So if one looks at that design, plus now wind is also coming up.
Oh yeah.
So one has. That's what I said. Be ahead of the curve.
But my question, the counter, though wind is there, it is not going to affect your GFI. Probably the penalty will be reduced, but GFI will not be.
Anything which reduces your fuel consumption is a positive to you.
Yeah, but GFI is a ratio.
Quantum changes.
Okay.
Quantum changes.
Quantum changes, definitely, yes. So penalty will be reduced a lot if you are within that.
So finally, it's economics.
Economics will pay, definitely.
So,
yes. And wind power is coming up very fast. I agree to that. Like so many developments and these things are going on. Yeah.
So I don't think I have an answer to tell you that. I don't think anybody has an answer to you. This will be the correct way forward. But it's more about taking today, because finally when you build a ship, you're building for next 20-25 years. It's important to take all this into account and try to take as good a judgmental investment decision on this.
One more thing, like I always keep on thinking about all these developments and like GFI, alternative fuels, renewable fuels, wind power, everything is coming up. Parallelly, CCS is also coming up. Yes. Carbon capture system.
Yes.
And our whole focus is about reducing the GHG emission to the atmosphere. If we talk about CCS, if CCS was developed right before, then people can still burn the fossil fuel. What is the problem in that, right? So, but
yeah. Okay. The issue is one. Let's be very clear on the principle. You cannot convert pollution of air into pollution to water.
Yeah.
So the captured carbon is something which is not to be polluting the sea. Not to become another pollutant in another form.
Correct.
So that is true. Now, how do we then deal with the captured carbon?
Correct. Yeah.
That is the question.
That is the main question.
Yes, there are industrial uses of carbon where the carbon can be used, but development of infrastructure to do that.
Yeah, that is the main aspect.
That is the main aspect.
Yes.
Exploration of whether that can be put into the
earth,
like unused gas fields or something, injection and all. But let's not get into a situation where to solve one problem we are creating
another problem.
Today, honestly, even for your routine, we are seeing challenges of people storing treated sewage on board vessels because people are not being allowed to discharge them in waters. Forget about untreated. I'm talking of treated. And they're carrying it on a ship.
Yeah.
Now that
Correct.
still allows you to go out to sea and pump it out.
Correct.
Let us not make ships as something which are fixed with a certain amount of carbon stored on board, which is moving all around because it's not taken anywhere.
And
so those are certain issues which have to be tackled.
Correct. And I think that is the reason even EU, who has came up with the these alternative fuel EU and this thing, but they have still not approved any CCS technologies in this.
Yes, because you see, everything has got its own. You have to again have a very holistic view.
Correct.
We talk of biofuels and all, but then one of the key things there is that don't make it such a thing that your land starts getting used for, and your agriculture gets impacted.
Right. Similar point as you said, like you do one good and probably you are doing something bad to some other part.
So the proper impacts have to be studied.
Correct. So even a similar kind of feeling you get when we are talking of biofuel. Right, when we are talking of biofuel, if I said like ethanol, we will make a ethanol from the sugar cane. People will start growing sugar cane only for ethanol. Yes. That kind of develop a crop like a corn or something.
Right. So checks and balances will come in that.
Yes.
That is what the regulations will ensure, that it's a sustainable fuel. It is not something which is at the cost of something.
Yeah.
So those checks and balances are
regulatory
required.
Bodies will have to do a really work on a.
That's why it's amazing to see the sort of research work which is going on these, and it's all across. And it's really interesting to be reading all this material. It's sometimes quite
it's interesting, to be frank. Like so many. See, if we see our time at sea, the technological development did happen. It's not that it did not happen. It did happen, but I would say that was a scope. Like we studied engine, and engine has developed from quite a lot, from the mechanical engine to the electronic engine, all those things. But the main principle of working remained same. But now the things are changing really fast. The technological development and all those things are changing really fast. Yeah, even IC engine still valid, but even there are so many changes with this. So it is a kind of well, sir, I want to move to other part of your this thing is your baby, or your leading IMEI, Institute of Marine Engineers. There's like, since our childhood, I would say, because career is you born in this marine engineering, we are seeing IMEI. We have done quite a few courses in IMEI during our career. So how do you find like now how IMEI is working and helping our marine engineering fraternity?
I think as a institute, a lot of my own personal growth I attribute to working with IMEI personally, because it exposes you to so many aspects of other marine engineers that it really makes you grow not only in your field but also as possibly as a human being. Now I have been involved in various capacities for, I suppose, couple of decades with the IMEI, and I have been now as president trying my best to elevate it to a further status. So we are doing post-sea courses not only at Mumbai and Kochi, we also started at Goa and Calcutta.
Okay.
We are getting involved with not only the technical part of it but the softer human element for our members. Various membership value-added programs we have started doing and it's not me, it's been a philosophy which we have been doing for the last few years. We have amended our actually objects to include these aspects. We are trying to increase our reach to each and every marine engineer, which I feel is the basic strength. The strength of the institute is its membership. So that's one key focus area for me. We are also trying to develop a strategy for, because as you know, we are all elected for a 2-year term, and then the reins hand over. But what I am trying to do in this tenure is also develop a sort of a philosophy for which would last for, let's say, next 6 to 8 years, so that there's a continual direction for the institute to move forward. The idea is that not only for membership but for the maritime fraternity, IMEI is considered as an institute where they can get answers, where they can get support, which fulfills these objects which we have.
I understand. When we were doing all these exams and all, like, I have done quite a few preparatory courses and whenever we had any question, beside we are doing courses, like, that was one point of a contact. Going to MMD was like, yes, you can go to MMD, that is the main thing, but IMEI was the institute where you can sit with the director and ask you any questions. Then the captain, Mr. Aneja was there.
Yes.
Aneja was there, and we used to sit and discuss, like, this is the problem, what should I do, and all that. That kind of a relation IMEI has kept with all their members.
Yes. And I must appreciate what the previous people who have built IMEI has. That foundation they built so strong. It's been very easy for us to add on the floors because that foundation is strong. Real vision of those people I must appreciate.
Great. Okay, sir, we are coming to the end of our interview session. Just a quick rapid fire, just to lighten this thing. So, which was your favorite ship during your this thing, and why? In a short this.
Favorite ship? Okay, now you're taking me back more than 3 decades. I would possibly say my first ship, Jakpalak, because it was a starting, and like I feel I learned so much on that ship. It was a tanker, coastal tanker. It wasn't an easy life, but I think the foundations were laid then, possibly also because you it's possibly the first ship impression always is
so many curiosities, so many things to learn, and
so many sudden revelations come across. Oh, this was so simple.
Right. I agree. Another question is, like, your any shore visit you remember, port call which you really remember from your career?
Port call? Oh, we had a anchorage stay of Mangalore in monsoon because we were carrying a cargo which was rain sensitive. It was monsoon time, so I think we spent 3 months out there. So, and we then did some discharge. So we used to regularly play cricket on the jetty. Another ship was there.
I read somewhere about you in the internet, like the cricketer of Maritime Industries or something.
I used to play cricket.
You used to play,
I still try to play once a year in that DMET versus ex Rajendra match. Yes,
you are still famous for that.
We even made a bat on board out of bolting on a handle to a slab of wood and played in the hatch covers. Those were days when possibly the company did not bother
today. We used to play football in the car carrier decks. With one thing only marine engineer at sea can understand, can do things. What you feel like?
If you ask a deck officer, he'll tell you control the AC.
As a marine engineer.
I think as a marine engineer, you really
anything.
can get to the depths of any problem, the basics, uh, because it's so many different sort of engineering streams you are done with, whether it's a hydraulic issue, whether it's a pneumatic issue, a mechanical issue.
True.
That's something which, and you actually are more or less taking care of a full
All kind of
city with
exactly.
every sort of thing on board.
Ship is like a floating city.
So
you
right,
deal
right
with
from
all aspects.
right from a choked sewage line to anything, you have to deal with it, and you deal with it.
True. Exactly. If not maritime, what would have been your career?
Wow, that's a tough one. If
Never
not,
thought of like
you possibly got no enough salt water in the veins not to think of anything else. I was doing physics honors, as I told you, but if after physics honors I think of myself, would I have taken up teaching as a profession or research as a profession? Maybe. I could have become a sort of a teaching professional in that line, possibly, but I think I took a right step.
You like teaching people, and
I like sharing my knowledge.
sharing knowledge. You are into that.
I like sharing my knowledge.
If it was not maritime, you could have done for the physics, or
then I would have possibly, like, I would be happy to share whatever. I hope it is not taken.
I thought like marine engineers are always like ready to share their knowledge. हर एक को सिखाते ही रहते हैं, like every
I don't know whether it's good or bad.
Industry have to accept that because we are in a, like, deck cadets come, junior engineer come, fourth engineer come. Every time you are teaching.
I think the more you are willing to tell others, the more you are willing to listen also from others. Because you have to imbibe also.
My last question: since you are doing so many things at the same time, what is your go-to stress buster on board, office, at home? How you do that?
Stress buster.
What do you do to bust your stress? Anytime you are getting stressed with all these things, that should be my first question.
That is what I was thinking was, do I let myself get stressed? It happens
at times.
You do get stressed. Sometimes there are deadlines and all, and you do get. I won't say you don't get stressed, but has that sort of stress led me to do something like that some people keep
that ball
or something. I used to have a bag full of marbles which somebody like came as a part of some corporate gift or something, but I don't think I ever used it. Possibly for me, I would say that I have some relaxation hobbies. I do enjoy listening to soothing music. I still do maintain a LP player, and I have a shop in Delhi which I know keeps records also. So, and recently one of my batchmates whose LP player got defunct, he sent all his records to me. So I enjoyed that. So I think with that sort of a relaxation, if there has been stress in
music,
the day,
is a
music, I think for me is possibly and soothing slow music, I think would be. But in office,
old classical,
not really old classical, but just something relaxation
simple
type and all, and possibly in office and all, maybe a bit. Now of course I suppose I'm a very relaxed person. Maybe if you speak to some of the times when in younger days, possibly if one was stressed out over something, then it would be also channelized into the other people, so that some of the stress is divided across. That's all. Like, stress is something you deal with.
So nowadays, for the new generation also, we can say that stress is a part of their life. So the people like you who has grown up to that level can give them some advice, how to tackle or how to manage their life also, because everybody wants to grow, everybody wants to run that race, uh, and it's not bad, I would say. Everybody has to run, and during running you need to find out your time, your span, and you have to stabilize somewhere and relieve your stress. Probably you might be listening music or go play some sports or anything, whatever.
I would say the only thing I would say is don't keep it bottled up.
Yeah.
What is most important is don't let it keep dwelling on inside you, because then it becomes uncontrollable.
Correct.
Let it out. Whatever way you find it, I'm sure everybody in today's world will find somebody who will listen to you properly, guide you properly. Is finding that right group of individuals or something, but don't keep these things bottled up.
Yeah.
That is, in my opinion, not desirable.
Correct. Anything you want to give a message to the youngsters who are coming, young marine engineers, new generation engineers?
One thing which I regularly say to, because having spent now so much time, have come across people looking for various guidance and all at times. And one thing which I tell them is, to me, the most important is, in your profession, reach the highest level of qualification.
Okay.
Become a chief engineer.
Right.
At least there are some who, because of certain reasons, do not wish to pursue that path. At least become a second engineer, become a management level person.
Correct.
But even then, I would still not recommend stopping there. Become a chief engineer, pursue your, and do it passionately.
Correct.
So I think once you reach that level, then you mature a lot.
Right.
As second engineer, once you reach, you are king of the engine room.
Definitely yes.
And at our time, it used to be like, engine room is my domain territory, and I am the expert here. But when you reach the chief engineer level, you are also management, senior management. So I would say pursue that even beyond if you want to.
Yeah.
And do it with pure passion.
But don't leave it halfway. Like try to complete every stage as much as possible.
And never get sort of bogged down. If you get bogged down, speak out. I'm sure there are people who will.
There are people to help you.
And of course, that's one thing which at IMEI we want to have that mentorship going strong.
Right. And IMEI is doing that role for years, I guess. Same thing. So giving confidence, talking with the people, their candidates. And you guys are doing really well with the IMEI.
Yes, this tenure of mine is coming to an end now, so
yeah, I understand there is an election going on.
Yes,
but definitely we will be still seeing you.
Oh yes, definitely will keep contributing.
Right. And thank you for the interview, sir. It has been really nice talking to you.
Thank you very much.